Hello guys, today we are going to cover the Cambridge IGCSE Mathematics paper 2. This is a non-calculator paper and this came up for 2026 Fast Paper Mock Championship of May June session. So let's start. So you are given a list of formula which you will be needing throughout the paper. Now starting with question number 1. Work out 0.0 to the power of 2. So we have 0.02 here and 0.02 here, right? We are going to multiply these two and we get 4 into 10 to the power minus 4. So we have minus 2 here and we have minus 2 here. These two are going to be added to get minus 4. Alright. Next, we are going to evaluate this and this becomes 0.0004. Write this number correct to four significant figure, right? So we have 559.3992. So you have to notice this digit, right? This is 9, so we should round up and this becomes 59.40. We have to keep the 0 since we are needing four significant figure. The scale drawing shows the position of two villages P and Q. The scale 1 centimeter represents 0.5 kilometer. So you are going to use a ruler to measure this distance. Find the actual distance between P and village Q, right? So you have 9 centimeter, you have 9, you need to multiply this with 0.5 because each centimeter represents 0.5 kilometer and we will get 4.5 kilometer. Next question. Measure the bearing of village Q from village P. So you have to measure this angle using a protractor. So if you use a protractor, you will get 110 degrees. Priyanka plays a game in which she can win, lose, or draw. The table shows the probability of her winning or losing the game. So from the table, you need to at first complete the table, right? So we know if you add all the probability, this one, and this one, you will get 1, right? So let's try to separate this and this from 1 and we will get 0.45. Priyanka plays 120 times. Work out the expected number of games she win. So the probability of winning is 0.3, right? So we need to multiply 120 with 0.3 to get the expected number and we have 36. Now you are given with u and v, which are two vectors. You need to find 2u minus 3v. So at first you multiply 2 with the value of u. So we get 4, 6 and 4. Now you need to multiply 3 with v to get minus 36 and 15, right? Then you are going to do this subtraction. 6 minus and minus becomes plus, so it becomes plus 42 and 4 minus 15 is equals to minus 11. So this is the answer. Now find modulus of v. So we have v here. You need to do 12 square plus 5 square. So 12 square is 144 and 5 square is 25. So when we add these two, we get 169. And usually in a non-calculator question, you will get square root which you can evaluate, right? So my suggestion would be to kind of know the square roots between numbers 0 to 15 or the square of number between 0 to 15. So 169 root is equals to 13. Alright, we have a division here. So we have n to the power of 15 divided by n to the power of x. Since this is a division, we are going to write 15 minus x here, right? Then we have n to the power of 5. So since we have n here and here, this means 15 minus x is equal to 5. So now just make x the subject of the formula and you get 10. The diagram shows a right angle triangle ABC. So this is a right angle triangle and this is a right angle, right? Work out the exact length of AC. We will use Pythagoras theorem here. So we will square this side and square this side, add this both to get 11 square, right? 8 square plus y square is equals to 11 square. So now we make y square the subject of the formula by bringing 64 to the right side. We evaluate the values and then we get root over 57. Root over 57 can't be evaluated, so we just write this value because we need the exact length. You cannot use decimal or anything. Alright, now we have cos x is equals to k. Write down the value of k. So cos is what? Cos is equals to opposite adjacent by hypotenuse, right? So we have adjacent side here 8 and we have hypotenuse of 11. So we divide 8 with 11 and this is the answer. Alright, now coming up to the next question, we have 8x plus 7 is equals to 39. So we make 8x is equals to 32 by subtracting 39 with 7. Then we can divide 8 with 32 to get 4. Next question, 2 into 5y minus 1 is equals to 24. We break down the bracket by multiplying 2 with 5 at first, we get 10y. Then we multiply 2 with minus 1 to get minus 2. Now we bring 2 to the right to get 26, and then we divide 10 of the coefficient of y with 26 to get 10. So we have the answer of 2.6. Next question, work out giving your answer in standard form. So here you have to give the value in standard form, right? So we have to answer this in standard form, meaning we have can only have one digit before the floating point, right? And then we need to have 10 to the power of minus n. Alright, let's evaluate this. Since this is multiplication, we can easily just multiply 7.1 and 5 and 10 to the power of minus 15 with 10 to the power of 3. So if we do the multiplication, we get 7.1 into 5 is equals to 35.5, and we can add minus 15 plus 3, right? So we have the answer 35.5 into 10 to the power of minus 12. Now we bring the decimal point to the left, one place to the left, so we have the answer of 3.55 into 10 to the power of minus 11. Now coming to the next question, we have 5.3 into 10 to the power of 7 plus 5.3 into 10 to the power of 6. So to evaluate this, we have 5.3, this becomes 53 into 10 to the power of 6, and we have 5.3 into 10 to the power of 6, right? We can add 53 with 5.3 and take 10 to the power of 6 common. So if we do the addition, we have 5.83 and 58.3 and 10 to the power of 6. We bring the decimal point one place to the left, so this answer becomes 10 to the power of 7. Now the diagram shows the cylinder with radius r centimeter and height 16 centimeter. The sphere has a radius of 3 centimeter. The volume of the cylinder is equal to the volume of the sphere. Find the volume of r. So we use the formula for the volume of sphere, which is 4 by 3 pi r cube. So if we evaluate this, we get 36 pi. Now the volume of the cylinder, so let's draw the sphere at first. And the volume of these two shapes are equal, right? So the height of the cylinder is 16, so we have pi r square into the height 16. If we do this, this will be equal to 36 pi, right? Pi and pi gets cut down, so we have 16 r square is equals to 36. This is 36 by 16, and if we have a root over, it becomes 6 by 4, which is equals to 1.5 centimeter. Alright, next part we have I inequality. Write down the inequality for x represented on the number line. So we have a circle which is filled in and the circle which is not filled in. So the part which is not filled in, we write less than sign, and the part we have filled in, we write less than equal to symbol. So this becomes, the range is -3 to 4, and the symbols will be as I just said before. Alright, coming to the next part, diagram shows. Alright, in the next question we have, the diagram shows two straight lines intersecting two parallel lines. So these two are parallel lines. Find the value of x and the value of y. So we know this angle is 45 degree, so the angle shown is also 45 degree because these are parallel lines. This is 65 degree, so this angle will also be 65 degree. So if we add 45 plus x plus 65, this will be equal to 180 degree because this is a straight angle, right? So if we make x the subject of the formula, we get 70 degree. Now coming for y is the vertically opposite angle of the 65 degree, so the value of y will be 65 degree. Now we have to work out the area of the trapezium, so you can use the formula of trapezium, or you can break this down into a triangle and a
rectangle. So if you use the formula of the trapezium, we have half into b1 plus b2 into height. Alright, let's break it down at first. So we have two shapes, one rectangle and one triangle. We can multiply 9 with 8 and this side will be 4, right? So we have 9 into 8 plus 1 by 2 into 4 into 8. If we add this 2, we get 88 degrees. 88 centimeter square. Now for the second formula, 1 by 2 into height 1, which is base 1, which is 13, and base 2, which is 9, and we multiply this with 8. So if we evaluate this, we will get 88. Now we have the student measures the height 8 centimeter of each of the 400 plants. The cumulative frequency diagram shows the results. So the total value is 400. To get the median, we will find the value of 200, right? Because this is half of 400. Now if we trace this down, we get a height of 30. Alright, now for the interquartile range, we have to find q1 and q3, right? So q1 is 1 by 4 into 400, which is equals to 100. So we've traced the value of 100. Alright, then 3 by 4 into 400, which is 300. So we now trace the value of 300. From the graph, if we get the value of 300, we get roughly 37 centimeter. And if we do the value for 100, we get the value of roughly 17. So 37 minus 17 will be the IQR, which is the interquartile range. So 37 minus 17, which is equals to 20. Alright, the 80th percentile. This means we have to do 80 divided by 100 into 400, and we get the 4 gets cut, the zeros get cut, and we have a value of 320. So let's find the value from the graph. 320, if we trace this, we get the value of 40, and it is roughly 39. So let's try it here. And the number of plants with a height greater than 40 centimeter. So we take the value to the right, meaning we'll take the range. This means we will trace the value of 40, and we will take the range from 320 to 400, this range, and this range is equals to 80. I wrote 79 because this is the exact value, and you get marks for a value which is close to 76 to 80. Alright, in the next table we have a frequency table. The height and frequencies are given. Complete the histogram to show this information. One has been drawn for you already. So we find the density, which is 120 divided by 20, and we get the value of 6, and then we shade this area. Alright, next up we have 80 divided by 10, which is 8. The interval size is 10, so we divide 80 with 10, we get a value of 8. Then we draw this. Next up we have frequency 124, and the interval is also 10, so if we divide this, we get 12.4. Next up, the frequency is 76, but the interval is 40, so we divide 76 with 40 to get a value of 1.9, and we draw this.
In this question, you are given 3 polygons which have an intersecting angle, right? So 3 regular polygons A, B, C meet at a point. The interior angles of the polygons are in the ratio A is to B is to C is equals to 3 is to 4 is to 5. So you are given a ratio question. This means you need to find at first we will find the angle for each of the shape. Alright, so we will find the value of these. The way we do this is at first we add the ratio to get 12. Alright, so now this means A will have 3 by 12th of the full 360 degree. B will have 4 by 12 of the full 360 and C will have 5 by 12 of the full angle. Alright, so A plus B plus C is equals to 360. This is something we know because this is a full angle. Then A is equals to 3 by 12 into 360, we get the value of 90. Then B is equals to 4 by 12, which is the ratio of B, into 360, which is 120. C is equals to 5 by 12 into 360, which is 150. Alright, now we will work with B and C. We know the formula of the interior angle for any shape, any polygon, regular polygon is n minus 2 into 180 degree divided by n. This is the interior angle of regular polygons. So we evaluate this equal to 120 for B because we found the value of 120. So we make n the subject of the formula and we get n is equals to 6 for B. Now we do the same for polygon C. Instead we use the value of 150. Now if we find the value of n, we get 12. So that means number of sides of B is equals to 6 and the number of sides of C is equals to 12. So of course C has twice the number of sides as polygon B. Next up we have one coordinate and one vector. Find the coordinate of the point B. So here we have, let's say we have A and we have B. Alright, now we need to find BA. So BA will be BO plus OA, right? So we have O here. So this will be the part. So that means OA minus OB, right? Which is equivalent to what I just said. And now this means OB is equals to OA minus BA. So now we write the vectors minus 4 and 1 and we subtract this with minus 5 and minus 12. If we do minus 4 plus 5, we get 1, and if we do 1 plus 12, we get 13. Now point C has coordinates this. Find the vector CA. So again, using the same knowledge, we get CA is equals to OA minus OC. Alright, then we give the value of OA, we give the value of OC, we subtract this to get minus 9 by minus 9 and 3. Now we have EF is equals to 3BA. Find modulus of EF. So the modulus value of EF will be 3 times the modulus value of BA. This is something we know. So at first we evaluate the modulus of BA. So we have found we already have BA, so let's try to evaluate that. So we have 5 square plus 12 square, which is the modulus of BA, and we get 169, and then we multiply this by 3 because we have a 3 here. So if we evaluate this, we get 39 because root over 169 is equals to 13. So 13 into 3 is equals to 39. On the next question, we have to simplify this. So we have 32 here and we have 98. At first we need to break this down. So we can break this down into this part. We can write 32 as 2 into 16. We can write 98 as 2 into 49. And this number 49 and 16 are square numbers. So we can just replace this with a 4 and root over 2 will be multiplied by this. We can replace 49 with a 7 and root over 2 will be multiplied by this. Then we add the value of 4 and 7 to get 11. So this becomes 11 root 2. Now we need to rationalize the denominator. So whenever we have to rationalize something, we need to multiply with the negative conjugate of this, right? So we multiply 1 with root over 2 plus 1. We just change the symbol of the denominator. Alright, we get root over 2 plus 1, and in the denominator we also have root over 2 minus 1 into root over 2 plus 1. So now we will use this formula, a plus b and a minus b is equals to a square minus b square. Here a square, a is root 2 and b is 1. So we have root 2 square minus 1 square. That means we have 2 minus 1, which is equals to 1. And in the upper part we have 1 multiplied by this. So this evaluates to root over 2 plus 1. So we have root over 2 plus 1 divided by 1, which is equals to root over 2 plus 1. Now these are the first 4 terms of a sequence, right? So this is having a minus 3 here, this is having a minus 3 here, and this is having a minus 3 here. Alright, so that means the next term will be minus 3 with 2, right? So we have minus 1 here. Alright, find the nth term of the sequence. So we have the first term of the sequence, which is equals to what? 11, right? Now we need to, for the next term, we have we have a common difference of -3, right? Now we have 11 minus 3, and we need to multiply this with n, right? We have 11 minus 3n, and then we can add 3 here, right? You can use this method, or you can do something like this. We have a is equals to, this is the first term 11, then the common difference, the d, is equals to -3, right? Now we have the formula a plus n minus 1 d, right? So we have a of 11 plus n minus 1, and we have a common difference of -3, and then if we evaluate this, we have 11 minus 3n plus 3, which is equals to 14 minus 3n. Now coming to the next part, shade the region in each Venn diagram. So we have a intersection b, which is exactly this part, right? And the prime of that will be the part outside this. All right, next part, we have c intersection, c union d. That means we will have this part, this both part. Now we have to intersect this, not e. That means from this part we will take the part which is not included in e, right? Which is this part, right? So if we shade this correctly, we have this part. All right, next up we have given number. So you need to, by writing each number correct to one significant figure, work out an estimate for d. So we need to round off all of this number, all right, to one significant figure. So this becomes 2, then 9.92 becomes 10, and 8.07 becomes 8. So if you evaluate this, we have 2 into 10 divided by 8, right? So let's try this. 2 into 100 divided by 8. So then we can do this. If we break down the 2, we have 100 divided by 4, and these are both square numbers, so this becomes 10 by 2, which is equals to 5. Now find the exact value of x. So we know cos 30 degree will be adjacent, which is 4, equals to 4 by x, which is the hypotenuse, right? So we have 4 by x. Now we make x the subject of formula, so divided 4 divided by cos 30, and we know cos 30 is going to be root over 3 by 2, right? If we evaluate this, we get 8 by root 3. All right, so if you don't know the value of cos 30, then you can do something like this. You have a equilateral triangle here. This is 60 degree, this is 60 degree, so this will be 30 degrees, since this is a bisection of this triangle, right? Now we have, if we have 1 here, we have 2 here, 2 here, since these are two sides, and we have 1 here, right? So now if this is 30 degree, that means we can find this value, right? So we have x, all right, let's say this side is y square plus 1 square is equals to 2 square, then we have y square is equals to 2 square is 4, and 4 minus 1 is 3. So y will be root over 3, right? So now we have a triangle like this, 1 and root over 3 and 2, and this is angle of 30 degree. So cos 30 will be equal to adjacent, which is root 3, by hypotenuse, which is 2. So this is how we derive the value of cos 30 if you don't know the value. All right, write as a single fraction in its simplest form. All right, since this is a fraction, we need to multiply 3 with x by 3, x plus 3. So we have this part, then we need to have -4 between them, and then we multiply 4 with this part, x minus 4. So then after evaluating, we get this and then this part. So this is the simplified form. Now
All right, coming to the next question, we have workout 0.114 plus 0.2. Give your answer as fraction. So this is a recurring value, so this means 0.1, and 141414 will be repeated. So let's say x is equals to this value, then 10x is equals to 1.14141414. 1000x equals to 114.141414. This will be recurring, so the last part is repeating, right? 141414. This is the same value for both of the number. So if we subtract 1000x minus 10x, this means the parts after the decimal will be omitted. So let's try this. 114.141414 1.141414. So now we have 990, x equals to 113, which means x is equals to 113 divided by 990. Now let's evaluate the value of 0.2. 0.2 is equals to 1 by 5, right? So if we multiply with the right value, we will get 198 by 990. So we get 198 by 990. So let's add this two value, 113 by 990 plus 198 by 990. We get 311 by 990. Alright, next part. The diagram shows a cyclic quadrilateral. The ratio P is to M is equals to 2 is to 3. So that means this is a cyclic quadrilateral. So y plus m plus 10 will be 180 degree. P plus m will also be 180 degree because these are opposite angles. So that means P is equals to 2 into 180 divided by 5, which is equals to 72 degree. M is equals to 3 by 5 into 180, which is equals to 108 degree. Now if we add m plus 10 plus y, which means 108 plus 10 plus y, this is equals to 180 degree. This means y is equals to 180 minus 118 degree, which means y is equals to 62 degree. So this is the answer. Now we have to draw a graph. You are given a cubic equation and the shape is like this because this is a positive cubic equation. X has no negative symbols, right? So the shape will be like this, and there will be x-intercepts, meaning the graph will cut the x-axis in these points. So let's say this equals to 0. This means x might be 0 for this part, or x might be minus 2 for this part, or x is equals to 3 for the last part. So let's just draw crosses here, and we can just draw a graph which intersects these 3 points. Expand, show the value of the intersection with the axis. So we need to write the values here in the graph. Now we have the same function, we need to expand it. So x into x is equals to x square plus 2x, right? So we have a bracket here. Now x square plus 2x into x minus 3, this is equals to x cube, plus 2x into x is equals to 2x square minus 3x into x square is equals to minus 3x square, and then 2x into minus 3 is equals to minus 6x. So we need to add this 2, so we get x cube minus x square minus 6. Alright, next we have a is the point 1 and 6. The tangent to the graph of y is equals to fx at a meets the y-axis at b. Find the coordinate of b. So let's imagine this. A is a point in the graph, right? So roughly around here the tangent hits at a, so this is roughly around here. We need to find the value of this, which is b. Alright, now let's write the formula of y, which is this x cube minus x square. Then we do dy by dx, it becomes 3x square minus 2x minus 6. Now we put the value of 1 into this point to get the value of dy by dx. We get minus 5. Now the formula of tangent equals to y equals to mx plus c, right? So we found the value of m, which is equals to minus 5. So now we have this formula. Let's put the value of x and y here. We will put these coordinates here, and we get the value of c, which is minus 1. So we have found the value of the formula of the straight line graph. So we put the value of x equals to 0 here to get the value of y, which is minus 1. Y is equals to minus 1. So we write down these coordinates.
Write down the exact value of tan 60. So we use the triangle once again, the equilateral triangle. We have 60 degree in all sides, so let's break it down. This becomes 30 degree, this is 60 degree. Alright, we have found this value to be root over 3 in the previous part, and this value to be 1. So tan 60 will be opposite by adjacent, so which is root 3 by 1, which is equals to root 3. Now solve 2 sin x minus 1 is equals to 0. Alright, so from this we make 2 sin x is equals to 1, sin x is equals to 1 by 2. If we evaluate this, we get 30 degree, right? And now we know sine is positive in the first quadrant and the second quadrant, so that means we will get this angle or this angle. Alright guys, this is it for the video. Thanks for tuning in. Inshallah, see you in the next video.